My girlfriend said, "Maybe he is more important than you." I replied, "Then I'm done with you." Then I blocked her on everything, buried myself in work, ignored every call and knock at my gate, and I watched as her sister arrived with screenshots that turned the whole story upside down. AF Tales is back with another story. This one is about my girlfriend said during an argument that he was more important to her than I was, and that I made her feel unsafe. As you listen, think about the moment where you would have walked away and what you would have done differently. I'm Daniel, 31, and I run a small carpentry business in Portland. Custom furniture, home projects, nothing fancy, but it pays the bills and keeps me sane. I used to work in corporate sales, but I left that world behind. Too many fake smiles and pointless meetings. Working with my hands felt honest. I've always seen myself as a quiet, honest guy who keeps his head down and does the right thing. Maybe that is why what happened with Lauren hit me so hard. Lauren and I had been together for almost 3 years. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue in the summer of 2021. She was the opposite of me in so many ways. Energetic, spontaneous, always planning the next adventure. She worked in marketing and loved the chaos of it. I admired that. We talked about moving in together. We even looked at places in the Alberta Arts District. I started saving for a down payment, taking on extra jobs on weekends. I wanted to build something solid and real with her, but there was always this guy. His name was Troy. They worked together at a marketing firm downtown. She talked about him a lot. Troy said this. Troy thinks that. Troy came up with the best campaign idea today. At first, I told myself I wasn't the jealous type. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. When one person's name keeps coming up like a soundtrack under your relationship, that's usually a sign something is off, even if the facts are not clear yet. It started to unravel on a Tuesday night in late September, the 26th. We were supposed to have dinner at my place, just pasta and wine, maybe a movie after. She showed up an hour late, barely apologized, and spent most of the meal on her phone. She was smiling at the screen, typing, barely looking at me. I finally asked, "What's going on?" "It's work stuff," she said, still staring at her phone. "Work stuff with Troy." I asked. She looked up, annoyed, like I had just insulted her. "Why do you always do this?" "Do what?" "Act like I'm doing something wrong. Troy's my friend, Daniel, that's it. We work together, we have to communicate. You're so paranoid sometimes." I wanted to believe her. So I dropped it. We finished dinner in silence. She left early, saying she had an early meeting. Looking back, that was the first red flag I ignored. When someone is more defensive than honest, your body usually knows it before your brain does. About 2 weeks later, on a Saturday afternoon, October 14th, I decided to surprise her. I brought coffee and croissants from her favorite bakery on Hawthorne. I had a key to her place. She'd given it to me months earlier, saying, "My place is your place." When I walked in, I heard voices in the living room. Low, intimate laughter. I froze. I walked in and saw them on the couch, not kissing, not touching, but sitting too close. Her hand was on his knee. They were looking at something on his laptop. The energy felt wrong, too comfortable, too familiar. They jumped when they saw me. "Daniel," she said, standing up fast. "I didn't know you were coming over." Troy looked uncomfortable. "Hey man, we were just finishing up some project stuff." "On a Saturday," I said. "Yeah, deadline Monday," Lauren said quickly. "We've been slammed with this new campaign." Troy offered to come over so we could work without office distractions. I set the coffee and croissants on the counter. My hands were shaking. "I'll leave you to it," I said. "Daniel, don't be like that," she called after me, but I was already walking out. I got in my truck and drove home, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. That scene is where many people start gaslighting themselves. You see something that feels wrong, but you try to talk yourself out of it because you don't want it to be true. She called that night. I didn't answer. She texted, "Can we please talk? You're overreacting. Nothing happened. You're being ridiculous." Overreacting. That word stuck in my chest. The next morning I called her. "What's going on, Lauren, and don't lie to me." She sighed, annoyed. Nothing's going on. Troy and I are friends. We work together. You're paranoid. It's exhausting. Then why does it feel like I'm the third wheel in my own relationship? Because you make yourself feel that way. Not everything is about you, Daniel. I have a life outside of us. You act like I'm supposed to only care about you. That stung, but I pushed forward. Do you have feelings for him? Silence. Long silence. I don't know, okay, I don't know. He gets me in ways you don't. My chest tightened. What does that mean? It means you're always so serious, so cautious. You analyze everything. Troy is fun. He takes risks. He makes me feel alive. He doesn't question every little thing I do. We went in circles for about 20 minutes, her defending Troy. Me trying to understand how we got here. She said I was controlling, that I didn't trust her, that I made her feel suffocated. Then she said the line that changed everything. You know what? Maybe he is more important to me than you are. Maybe that's the truth you can't handle. And honestly, Daniel, the way you're talking to me right now, you're making me feel unsafe. Unsafe. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't threatening her. I was asking questions and trying to save what we had. But that one word felt like a loaded weapon. This is something worth pausing on. When someone uses words like unsafe to shut down a normal conversation, they are not always setting a boundary. Sometimes they are building a shield they can hide behind later. I didn't say another word. I just hung up. Then I blocked her number. Blocked her on Instagram, Facebook, everything. I walked out of her life. For 3 weeks I heard nothing. I buried myself in work. I built a custom bookshelf, refinished a vintage table, started designs for a kitchen renovation. When friends asked what happened, I said, we broke up. It wasn't working. Some nights, I lay awake wondering if I'd overreacted, wondering if I should have fought harder. Then, on November 8th, around 8 p.m., there was a soft knock at my gate. I live in a small house with a fenced yard in the Montevilla neighborhood. You can hear the gate squeak when it opens. I thought it was a delivery or a neighbor. I opened it and saw Lauren's younger sister, Amber, standing there. She looked wrecked, eyes red and puffy like she'd been crying for hours. Amber, what's wrong? Are you okay? She held up her phone with a shaking hand. I need to show you something. Can I come in? We sat in my living room. She was trembling. I made her chamomile tea and waited. It took a few minutes before she could talk. I found these on Lauren's laptop, she said. She asked me to grab a file for her for work. I opened her messages and saw her conversations with Troy. I'm so sorry, Daniel. She handed me her phone. It was a screenshot of a text conversation. My stomach dropped as I started reading. Troy, when are you going to tell him? Lauren, I don't know, he's so clingy, it's exhausting. Every time I try to have space, he makes it this big thing. Troy, you said you'd break up with him weeks ago. What are you waiting for, Lauren? I know. I just need to figure out the money situation first. Money situation. I kept scrolling. Troy, how much does he have in savings again? Lauren, around $40,000. He's been saving for the down payment on that house. He's so proud of it, talks about it constantly. It's honestly pathetic. Troy, perfect. Once you get access to it, you can leave. We'll go to Cabo like we planned. My buddy has that condo we can use. Lauren, I hate lying to him, but he's so boring, so predictable. I can't do this anymore. He wants to stay in Portland forever, build furniture, live this small life. That's not what I want. Troy, just stick to the plan. Get the money, then we're out. You deserve better than some carpenter who can't even afford a real vacation. Lauren, I know. God, I know. Thank you for being patient with me. If you ever get to see how someone talks about you when you are not in the room, believe that version. That is who they are. I looked up at Amber. She was crying again. There's more, she whispered. She's been telling people you're controlling, that you're emotionally abusive, that you won't leave her alone even after she broke up with you. She's building a case so if you fight back, no one will believe you. I felt sick. Planning what? I asked. I don't know exactly, Amber said, but she mentioned a restraining order. She said it would scare you into compliance. Those were her exact words. She told Troy she was going to file one and say you were stalking her, threatening her, showing up at her apartment. She even practiced crying on the phone with him. My heart was pounding. I hadn't contacted Lauren once since the breakup, not once. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. "Because you're a good person, Daniel. You were always good to her and to our family. My sister, I don't recognize her anymore. She's planning to file a fake restraining order to scare you into giving her money." I heard her tell Troy that. I was in the next room. Sometimes the most painful part is realizing the person you loved is not just flawed. They're dangerous to your life, your name, and your future. The next morning, I went to see a lawyer. Greg, an old college friend I had helped with a deck a few summers back, he'd always said, "If you ever need legal help, I've got you." Now I needed him. I showed him the screenshots Amber sent me. "This is premeditated," he said. "Fraud, possibly extortion if she tries to blackmail you. This is serious." "What do?" I asked. "Document everything. Don't contact her at all. If she files a restraining order, we fight it with this evidence. Move your money today. New bank. Change your locks. Install cameras. Treat this like someone is trying to set you up." That afternoon, I moved my savings to a new account at a different bank. I changed my locks. I installed cameras around the property. I kept a detailed log of where I was each day and who I was with. It felt paranoid, but protecting yourself isn't paranoia when someone has already shown you their plan. 2 days later, Lauren texted me from a number I didn't know. "We need to talk. I made a mistake. I miss you." I didn't respond. I screenshotted it, sent it to Greg, and blocked the number. An hour later, another text from a different number. "I know you're angry, but I'm scared. Troy isn't who I thought he was. He's been using me. Please, Daniel, I need help. I need you." Still, I did not respond. Then she called from yet another number. I let it go to voicemail. Against my better judgment, I listened to it later. "Daniel, please, I messed up. Troy has been manipulating me. He convinced me to say those things about you and to plan all that stuff. I didn't mean it. I need money to get away from him. Just $5,000. I'll pay you back. I'm begging you. You're the only person who ever cared about me." Her voice sounded broken, desperate. For a second, I almost believed her. Almost. Then I remembered the texts. The plan. Cabo, my savings called pathetic. I sent the voicemail to Greg, then deleted it. The next day, she showed up at my house. I was in my workshop when my phone buzzed with a camera alert. I saw her on the screen at my gate, banging, crying, calling my name. "Daniel, please, I know you're home. Your truck is here. Please just talk to me. I'm so sorry. I'll do anything." I did nothing. I watched from my phone, heart pounding. After 10 minutes, she left. She sat in her car for another 20, staring at the gate, then drove away. This is the part many people struggle with. They see the tears and forget the plan behind them. Compassion is good, but it should not erase reality. That night, Amber called me again. Her voice was shaking. "She knows I told you," Amber said. "She went through my phone. She saw the messages. She kicked me out of our apartment. I'm staying with a friend now." "I'm so sorry, Amber," I said. "Don't be. I'm glad I told you. Just be careful. She's desperate. Desperate people do stupid things." Everything came to a head on November 22nd. Greg called me around 10 a.m. "She filed the restraining order," he said. "Court hearing is tomorrow at 2, but here's the twist. Troy filed a police report against her this morning. She stole $8,000 from his account, transferred it while he was asleep. He's pressing charges. When the cops questioned her, she tried to blame you. Said you manipulated her into it, controlled her finances, made her do it." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was so absurd. "She doesn't give up," I said. "No," Greg replied, "but she's done. The cops have the bank records, the transfer times. Your alibi is solid. You were at a job site in Beaverton all day with 3 witnesses. She can't drag you into this." The hearing was fast. I brought everything. The screenshots, the timeline, the voicemail, the log of my movements. Lauren came with a lawyer she clearly hired last minute. She looked exhausted and shaken. The judge went through the evidence. The texts about my savings. The plan to use a restraining order to scare me. Troy's police report. The records showing she stole his money. Her request for a restraining order was denied. The judge warned her that filing false claims could lead to criminal charges and that I could sue her for defamation. Her lawyer looked embarrassed. Lauren left the courthouse in tears, barely able to walk straight. I didn't feel proud. I just felt tired. This is why documentation and boundaries matter. In a he said, she said story, receipts are sometimes the only thing that stand between you and a ruined name. A week later, Amber told me Lauren had moved back in with their parents in Seattle. She'd lost her job. Fired for the theft and the drama. Troy blocked her on everything and was thinking about a civil suit. Her reputation in the local marketing world was gone. As for Troy, I later heard he moved to California, somewhere near San Diego. Honestly, good riddance to both of them. My life slowly started to feel normal again. I sold 2 custom dining tables, got a new commission for a home office in Laurelhurst. I started going to the gym again. I even went on a date, just coffee with a woman I met at a hardware store, nothing serious. But it felt good to act like myself again. Some nights I still think about Lauren, not with anger, more with pity. She wanted excitement, money, a life that looked good from the outside. She wanted shortcuts and other people's savings. Instead, she lost almost everything. Amber and I still talk sometimes. She found her own apartment and cut Lauren out of her life. We grabbed coffee recently, and she thanked me for not blaming her for her sister's choices. About 3 months after the court hearing, Lauren tried one last thing. A social media friend request from an account named Sarah Mitchell with a sunset as the profile picture. I recognized the email in the URL, blocked immediately. I don't know if I fully believe in karma, but I do know this: you cannot build a stable life on lies. It might stand for a while, but eventually, everything comes down. And sometimes, the best revenge really is just living well and refusing to be pulled back into the chaos. Now, looking back, here are a few lessons from my story. Lesson 1: if someone constantly talks about another person and gets defensive when you ask simple questions, pay attention to that pattern. Lesson 2: words like unsafe and controlling are serious. When they are used to shut down any attempt at honest conversation, that is a weapon, not a boundary. Lesson 3: if you ever see private messages where someone mocks you, uses you, or plans around your money, believe what you see, not what they say later. Lesson 4: protect yourself early. Move your money, save screenshots, install cameras, and get legal help if someone is openly planning to lie about you. Lesson 5: you are allowed to walk away quietly and completely when trust is broken. You do not owe endless chances to someone who is plotting against you. Lesson 6: the life you rebuild after leaving a toxic situation can be simple, calm, and honest, and that is more valuable than any dramatic love story. What would you have done in my place once you saw those messages? Do you think I walked away at the right time, or would you have left even earlier? Share your thoughts in the comments.